Hi, I am Alexander. Now I am in Mykolaiv, the south of Ukraine. My city has been under Russian attacks almost for a year. We hadn't got water, we hadn't got electricity, but Ukrainian people are unbreakable. That's why I am standing here. I prepared a lot of questions to interview my citizens, and I will do it today. I do that for Michael's production. Thank you.
My name is Pavlo. I'm 68 years old and have spent most of my life in the center of the region, the city of Mykolaiv.
What is your name?
Tatiana,
How old are you?
41.
What is your profession?
I am a lawyer.
My name is Maria. I am 30 years old and currently a homemaker raising children.
My name is Inga Alexandrovna Trofimova. I am 51 years old and I work as an accountant.
I am 45 years old. My name is Yuri, and I work in automotive repairs.
So, the first question, how do you feel about living in Ukraine now, given the current political and security situation?
The question is interesting and extensive. Well, it is not a life. Living in Ukraine is now a torment. Before the war, we had a stable and peaceful life, of which I am convinced. But now, there is war. And I emphasize once again that it is now a torment. A torment regarding the situation that exists in my city today.
Living in Ukraine was always good, but the war has disrupted our plans. Nevertheless, we will overcome everything.
It is arduous, yet we endure here in Ukraine and have not departed. We toil and approach our victory.
It is dangerous to live in Ukraine right now. There is fear, and there is fear of sudden noises. Of course, life priorities have changed.
How do you see the future relations between Russia and Ukraine after the war?
Relationships. If you could even call it relationships, then I only see negative relationships. I have many relatives in Russia, and they also asked me, will we continue to live peacefully and friendly with each other? I said that we might be able to live like that, but our countries probably won't. It would be like a miracle if everything could be improved and be as good as it was before. Today, however, I don't see any normal relationships anymore. Once the countries were brothers, now they are enemies, and there should be no relationships with enemies.
Well, it's too early to talk about it. Today, I think modern Ukrainians do not even envision any further relations between Ukraine and Russia.
I see no more relationships.
So there will be no more relationships.
Well, it's quite difficult to say. I can speak both Ukrainian and Russian. We have left many relatives there. It is still very hard to say, but I think there will be no more relationships. No.
It is very difficult to say now how the relationships between the countries will be. It will be very complicated. It is likely that the Ukrainian nation will not forgive the Russians for what they have done for a long time. It will take a very long time to somehow restore stable relationships. However, it is very difficult to predict how these relationships will develop, but I think that they won't be good.
Now, how did the war affect your life?
The war has affected my life, as well as the lives of all Ukrainians, negatively. There have been moral and physical losses. You see, the city is under constant shelling every half hour. Behind me, you can see the effects of the enemy's shelling, Russia. We are close to constant rocket attacks and explosions, all happening near the place where I live with my wife, and we wonder if it will hit us or not. That's how we feel.
How has the war affected our lives? We had to hide children where there was less shooting in the basements. Now, thank God, it is somewhat easier in Mykolaiv. We have pushed the Russians further away, and they can only reach us with long-range missiles. It has become harder for the Russians and probably more frightening, too.
The first months of the war were very cruel. We all hid in basements because Mykolaiv was heavily bombarded by Russia. Now, life is slowly returning to the city. We are returning to work. But it is very sad that every day there are more casualties, including from Mykolaiv.
Everything has changed. We see the world in a completely different way than before the war. Prior to the war, we didn't understand what we had and what we needed. But now, during the war, we see the same things differently that were considered normal before the war.
Are there people around you who have been directly affected by the war? Maybe they got their houses destroyed, or their relatives killed.
The war has affected all Ukrainians in our city and throughout the country. I have a half-brother whose apartment was hit by a rocket shell. Meanwhile, in the city, around 15,000 civilian buildings were destroyed, and another 100 residential houses, 30 multi-family houses, and 80 buildings were damaged. As you can see, they are without windows and doors. Approximately 120 people died. I remember 121 individuals, including one child. This is the situation here.
I had a friend whose son was shot. He was 27 years old. It's very difficult. We have friends who are serving in the Ukrainian military, protecting our country. Yes, there are many of them.
I have friends who have suffered. Some are homeless, but also guys I went to school with who have died on the front.
I believe that every Ukrainian knows of the dead and injured within their close circles who have left the country. That is very sad.
You can see that almost all windows are broken. That's because of Russian rockets. Also, you can see the market that was destroyed.
What do you think about arms shipments from Germany? Do you think this is good, or do you see any problem with this?
I agree. But the delivery of more advanced and efficient weaponry should be expedited.
There is nothing wrong with it, as they are supporting us. I believe that they will continue to support us and contribute to our victory more quickly. The problem is that weapons are being delivered very slowly.
As far as I know, there is a delivery of weapons from Germany, but it is associated with difficulties. These are strategic weapons such as tanks, armored vehicles, and so on. This leads to problems that I will not elaborate on, as they are obvious and well known to everyone.
Well, I think that is good because it helps us on the front line. I wish there were more weapon deliveries and that they are not stopped or delayed. I thank Ukraine's partners.
Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it nice, please like it. I wish you a wonderful day, and please feel free to visit Mykolaiv Productions for new videos soon. Thank you. Bye.